Okay, now I want to bring in Nick Pope. He studied UFOs for the British Ministry of Defense and is one of the world's leading experts on UFO conspiracy theories. Also, UFO researcher, historian, and author Richard Dolan joins us live tonight. Nick, I want to start with you. What do you make of these threats? I mean, the night before the hearings, to be talking about, people in the government being threatened not to talk is pretty disturbing.
It is. These are extremely serious accusations, and Congress must get to the bottom of things. I mean, this is a historic hearing. There's no doubt about that. We've heard, of course, previously from government witnesses, both at a previous congressional hearing and at the NASA meeting. Now we get to hear from the witnesses, two pilots and, of course, David Grusch. And there is clearly a disconnect between the official line from the U.S. government and what these whistleblowers are saying, particularly David Grusch, who sat at the heart of the intelligence community. And what I hope will happen is he will help Congress understand why this disconnect exists and help them find these programs. I mean, there's no gray area here. He's talked about recovered craft and non-human intelligences. Congress needs to be given the details so that we can verify this. But if death threats are in the mix too, few things are more serious than that. Yeah,
it's very disturbing. Richard, I want to bring you in. What do you make of the fact that, all three of these witnesses have already spoken publicly? David Grusch, perhaps the most significant, here on NewsNation. But I am told that there is new information that Grusch will talk about tomorrow. He's going to go into more detail. I don't know if he'll name names. What are you expecting to come out of the hearings, Richard?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me on. It's very interesting indeed. Grusch is absolutely a very important whistleblower, and it is true to call him a whistleblower, by the way. That's a term that's sometimes overused, but he genuinely is. And the problem with some people have complained. They said, well, he's not really telling us everything that he knows. The situation is that he has very, very high classifications and security clearances, and he can't tell everything that he knows. And I have wondered, is there any wiggle room that he has, things that maybe he can, can he leave a tidbit? Can he leave a breadcrumb? I think he might be in a tight spot in terms of what he is able to reveal. But I think he's the big wild card for tomorrow. We all know what David Fravor has had to say. He's very important. We know what Ryan Graves has had to say. They're both excellent pilots. They're unimpeachable witnesses. But Grusch is someone who we know has had very, very sensitive positions and does seem to know a lot. And I look at him as the wild card. As far as what he could say, we're all going to just have to wait and see what that will be.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, because obviously the Navy commander and the pilot, we've heard their accounts of what they've seen. That's not going to change. The thing with Grusch is that he knows a lot more than he's allowed to say. And it's possible that when he sits down in that chair tomorrow, that he could actually open up in a way that we haven't seen yet. Nick Pope.
May I add one thing?
Sure. Yeah, go for it, Richard.
I think it's really significant that we have Fravor and Ryan Graves giving their testimony, even though their information has been public. We have not had a situation of congressional hearings in which two exceptionally qualified military witnesses have been able to speak in front of our elected representatives and say exactly what they experience in terms of the UFO UAP phenomenon. And I think that's important. It's one thing to have it in the public domain, which it's already been, but it's another thing to bring it before Congress as qualified witnesses, which they certainly are. And that will be a significant moment.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.